Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the UKLC. I'm still Viper and still joined by Jamada, and we're jumping into our third game of the evening, Enclave against Nvision. And Jamada, this game, a lot is going to be proved in this one. Enclave want to start climbing away from that bottom position, away from that relegation zone, and Nvision need to start proving their playoff credentials.
Yeah, Nvision definitely do need to step up a little bit, but honestly, you can say the same thing for Enclave. I mean, concerns have remained pretty much the same, right? I need to see a little more productivity card team. I'm gonna start sounding like a broken record real soon, but they really have been very slow to the mark in so many of their games. The only game where, or the one of the two wins that they do have, they actually looked good when they were being fast, when they were playing quick League of Legends. And since then, we've not really seen that. And I think into a team like Nvision, if they're not actually fast, if they don't play high tempo, or at the very least, you know, they're stuck in their old ways, or what seems to be their current sort of play pattern in not really being too active in almost anything, Nvision will just sit there, scale for free, and out team fight them.
And we're going to be jumping into champ selection. We'll have to see what these two teams are going to decide to pick up. But I'm very, very interested to see how Nvision do, because yesterday we saw them coming up against M&M. It was a resounding win for M&M, but this game is much more like for like in terms of the way that these two teams like to play. And as you said, Nvision might just have the edge in this matchup if the same mistakes start creeping in for Enclave. We've got the Kindred, Pantheon, and Udyr bans all taken off the table. Some very powerful jugglers not going to be available this time around.
Yeah, and honestly, I think Cleanser has probably had Udyr banned away from him ever since the game, so not too surprised. Olaf ban being followed up. Actually curious to see that Pantheon is banned away on blue side. It's not something that you commonly see, especially not as an opening ban on blue side in particular. And in all honesty, it's not really a champion I feel like Nvision are too fond of, all things considered. But it's banned so frequently that maybe Nvision just haven't had a chance to show up with that champion. But Syndra gonna be banned away here, and Seraphine as well. Actually self-banned technically from Nvision, but a very common red side ban, as Enclave actually gonna forego any jungle picks in the immediate future, or an AD carry, and gonna lock in the Gragas, which of course can be flexed into the jungle, as we've seen by PFI, but more or less still considered that sort of 2/3-way flex if you've got the players for it.
I mean, PFI himself even said Gragas is very, very good in jungle, underrated, but not the best position for this champion probably. And Talia gonna be the response here from Nvision, wanting to take that one into the jungle most certainly, and a very, very strong aggressive pickup that we've already seen have some pretty good success earlier today.
Yeah, speaking of junglers which are rated quite highly, Talia is actually that champion, and honestly, with Renekton up, it's something that Akaz does play, but Nvision feel a little more comfortable securing away the Kai'Sa for now, just to sort of deny away the potential of the Kai'Sa plus Gragas combination, which we see very commonly in the UKLC. But Cleanser, for now, hovering the Hecarim, could be a very nice lock-in for them. And again, it plays into they're not so proactive all of the time, so giving themselves proactive tools to at least potentially give them the options, for me, is a very positive thing for Enclave.
Yeah, and with the Hecarim being locked in, does show that Gragas isn't going to be going into that jungle role, but a very nice, strong, engaged tool champion, which is always going to have a nice place in my heart in competitive League of Legends right now. It hasn't got to the point where I'm furious about seeing him every game, because the jungle role on this patch is pretty nice. There's a lot of different options, a lot of different opportunities to get power on the board, and Enclave also going to be picking up the Rel. So 3 really nice picks, some of the tankier members of the team already, and now they're going to have to look to round out damage on the second rotation.
Yeah, and a lot of options here for Nvision, to be totally honest with you. They could match the support pick if they really felt like it. They could lock in something that pairs up very nicely with that Talia to offer her a little more setup in the early game. Quite a few routes that Nvision can go down. Time is ticking. We'll have to see what they want, as they are just going to even out on that support. They're going to pick up the Alistar, which of course does have a pretty positive time into that rel. And now I would expect Nvision to ban away 2 very strong AD carries, perhaps the likes. Oh, they actually want to go down the Sykes target off the opener. So, I mean, there is no mid laner, there is no AD carry there. But when you have the AD carry locked in, but not necessarily your mid laner, you feel like you would probably want to pick on the AD carry pool. But Nvision, they want to take Sykes down a peg or two. He has also consistently had his Rumble banned away. I'll be curious to see whether that's what the second ban actually is away from Nvision.
A Rumble. That would be stunning content to see on a Sunday evening in the UKLC. But the Lulu taken off the table means that it's like for like banning BB Muffin. The Galio will be removed as well. So a couple of options left for Sykes in that mid lane, and we'll have to see if Enclave are going to be self-banning any of those away. It has been the kind of supportive style that BB Muffin is known for, so the likes of Karma could see the ban hammer.
I really want to see Orianna banned here if you're Enclave. I feel like whilst you could benefit from having the champion, it's just knocking BB Muffin off more comfort. So I feel like if you take away the Orianna, you remove away some of that utility that it can provide, you're actually getting a no ban. Curious. Okay, so I'm not sure what happened there. We'll have to see if it has any, if we get any word on that, if that was just miscommunication on their end. But Nvision, they don't really care. They're going to snap up the Orianna for themselves anyway. So we'll have to see now what the response is from Enclave. They see the AD carry pick, they see the mid lane pick. They've got 2 counter picks to pick up here. So it really is pick of the litter for them. Should be a very strong rotation, as Azir is going to be one of them. I think does fairly well here, and AD carry, there's plenty up. Not really many AD carries banned, so really is pick of the litter.
Samira, Jhin, all strong options with Fortune as well, could be picked up if they decide to go that route, and they've set themselves up very, very well in this draft so far. So just picking any of these top tier champions, even the Senna that we've seen having a resurgence recently in a couple of different ways, is gonna be the choice, and you seem pretty happy with this one.
Yeah, so I'm really down with the Senna. I think it works really well in tandem with the Hecarim diving forward. Giving him that extra healing and shielding is so valuable when you're talking about, all right, Hecarim wants to dive onto the likes of the Talia or the Kai'Sa or even the Orianna. You give him that added sort of oomph to his dive and potentially sometimes the extra damage, and it really does make that dive so threatening. Layer that on top of the fact that Rel is most likely going to be helping him out in that front, and the Sykes on the Azir can sort of just play back, kill for himself and Impulse at the same time. I think this composition actually is relatively well-rounded. They've got a nice amount of engage, they've got a nice damage profile, they've got a lot of peel for themselves, so very rounded from Enclave, a lot of proactivity tools there as well. On the other side for Nvision though, it does look like very much what we expect from them, right? Scaling AD carry, we do have the Orianna there in pocket too, which BB Muffin, we said, very comfortable on. So he's going to be real happy about his situation. And all in all, I think both these teams happy with the drafts they've ended up with. I just, from the Enclave point of view, I'm going to have to see them be more proactive. I really need to see some activity go on in the early game. Not because they're necessarily pressed or they're going to be outscaled, but just because it's about sending a message, right? It's about the point of, we can be active, but they do have the scaling to this competition. So it's not like they're forced to have to make plays on the map.
And it's the idea of needing to see some growth from these teams in terms of, especially on Enclave side. Yes, you don't only win by being proactive, but we want to see some more proactivity from you, but not the kind of proactivity. We don't want to see the proactivity from like we saw from Demise earlier today, because that was proactivity that got them killed over and over again. We want to see taking these earlier plays, looking to be a bit more aggressive and take the fight to Nvision, because Nvision aren't on the best run of form right now. They've lost a couple of games which were against weaker opponents than maybe we consider Nvision, and now's a good opportunity to play Nvision for Enclave, and this win will help put a little bit of daylight between themselves and Demise down at the bottom of the table. And yes, 2 teams go into relegation, but being able to start climbing towards that middle of the table pack and drag some of these other teams into this kind of fight for survival is only going to benefit Enclave in the long run.
Yeah, definitely is. And I want to say that Enclave also actually lost out on their round 1 robin to Nvision, so picking up a win here, evening out that score, all the more important when you're talking about the standings being so close. So all the more emphasis on Enclave to try and take down this Nvision side. And like I say, they've got the draft for it. They've got a lot of tools. It's very well-rounded is the key here for them. A lot of options. They can just sit back and sort of wait on their team fighting tools to come online. But at the same time, you're then giving the likes of BB Muffin and Spark a lot of time to ramp up and scale. And we've seen what Spark can do with resources and time.
And we know how good a player BB Muffin is as well on these utility style mid laners. And Orianna is a champion who can do a lot of damage on her own. So BB Muffin going to be able to do an exceptional amount of work if given the resources, or even without being given the resources. And this is something that BB Muffin, one of the most valuable assets in his game. is the ability to be that slightly more utility player that isn't all that common in the UK scene right now in the mid lane, and facilitating so much of what Nvision likes to do.
Yeah, it is certainly a level of skill required to being able to buff up your team without really giving up too much, but still being able to provide for other members of your team in that sense. BB Muffin both sort of selfless in that regard, but also doesn't really drop much for himself either. So it is definitely a rarity in the UK, particularly amongst UK mids. You don't really see mid laners have that kind of play style. In general, they will more often than not play for themselves, right? As the drafts have had to be remade. If you couldn't realize why we had the
why we were chilling so long just talking about this.
So long, yeah.
But I mean, it's also very, really nice seeing BB Muffin as one of these top Irish talents in the UK and Irish scene right now. Definitely having a lot of success on this Nvision roster, was here last split as well, and has been developing very, very consistently for the past couple of years. So excited to see them go forward and play even better in the second half of the split, hopefully, and even moving towards playoffs. Nvision are still within a shout of getting there. Of course, you've got Resolve, M&M, and London all doing exceptionally well, kind of monopolizing those top 3 spots as it is right now. But a couple of games lost by any of those teams, a couple of wins for Nvision against those teams, and then they start being really in the conversation for that top 2, top 3 spots.
Yeah, and I think just a little bit of sort of consistency around securing those wins again for Nvision, of course, will do them many a wonders. Only 7 games realistically left of the regular season, so many things can change, especially with the standings being so close. Securing wins here, like against Enclave, you know, securing the lower end team wins, right, is kind of what will keep you high up naturally. It's okay if you do drop a game to the likes of Resolve, or even to M&M again at the final stage of the regular split. But if you drop a game to, you know, Enclave, drop a game to Demise, that's really going to drag you down in the standings. We are getting very close to the game, folks. I promise. I know we've been talking for a while. But yeah, important for Nvision to pick up this win. It will bring them back, as you say, into the conversation for actually making that playoff spot.
And this is a roster, this is a team that will want to be getting towards those spots. And I know it's the kind of idea that every single team wants to be going towards playoffs. Every single team wants to win every single game as we do move on to the Rift for our 3rd game of the night. But with this roster that Nvision have built, that's definitely got to be the target. And with them on the red side against Enclave on the blue side, who have been struggling as of late, definitely an opportunity for them to do so. Again, lines of scrimmage. Come on, teams. Let's 5-man invade.
You're really trying to get some action in the other game. Okay.
That's the opposite of action. I beg. Like, I just want to see a 5. Okay, M&M, listen up. If you're watching, because you're going to be playing next.
Watching, yeah.
5-person invade level 1, please. You like fighting. That will force some kind of fight. Like, we didn't see a proper invade from Demise at the beginning of the day. They had Blitzcrank. Like,
true, actually, yeah.
There aren't. We're just 2 games later, we're still finding issue with that pick. But it's okay. If we're not going to see action on an invade because these 2 teams are clearly boring, where are we going to see the action in this game first? Where are the junglers going to want to be playing? Are there any lanes that want to be getting a bit aggressive?
I mean, I kind of look towards Nvision and I try and say, okay, Yuna's probably going to want to be sort of around this bottom side to make sure that Spark is left, you know, relatively untouched by Cleanser so that they can farm up. But yeah, Yuna doesn't really have much set up away from the bottom side unless you're talking about Akkas being in Meganar. And even then, at that point, you're putting resources and time into ganking what is likely going to be a full tank Gragas. So I think if you're Nvision, Yuna, playing towards the bottom side, not even just because it's Spark, just quite literally because it's the only lane with reliable setup. And if you're Cleanser, a few more options. I think a mid gank would pay quite high dividends, especially if you can blow the Orianna's flash and then Sykes levels up to level 6, gets the Emperor's Divide. The repeat ganks are quite easy to get in. So for Enclave, I would like to see a little bit of pressure put down on BB Muffin. And then if you're Yuna, I feel like most likely going to be playing towards that bottom side, trying to keep Spark safe and farming.
Okay, so let's keep an eye on if any of that stuff goes to plan or transpires, or if we're going to see standard, slow start, then big team fight around Dragon 2. And then the two teams just kind of waiting for objectives to spawn and then fighting over those objectives, which is fine. It's good to see teams, for the most part, not fighting over random stuff. Looking at you, first game in the mid lane for like 10 minutes for no reason. But I don't know. I'm getting a bit comfortable here in the UKLC hot seat. So I can start talking. But I'm excited to get into this game. I'm excited to see what Enclave do with some of these very powerful pickups, and I really like the draft that they built for themselves. And on the same time, Nvision have so much talent in this roster. I want to see them make life very, very difficult for these picks. So there's a lot to be liked about both of these team comps.
Yeah, and I also do think it's important to note, just in case anyone has forgotten, Nvision are the current UKLC champions.
That is true.
It's not something we actually mention a whole bunch, because most of the Nvision lineup that was present for that championship run is no longer here. But they do have, of course, BB Muffin and Spark returning as the two core carry members. So yeah, expectations very high for Nvision. They've pretty much consistently, since the beginning of last year, had very good results. You know, finishing top 3-4, I want to say they were third in spring 2020, whilst Fnatic Rising and XL were still present in the UKLC. Obviously winning out in summer and even, you know, runners up in full open, whilst the roster was, you know, wildly different in the full open. Irregardless, the results for the organization, very, very positive all in all. So expectations still very much high. You feel potentially finishing first place in regular season might be out of reach given the Resolve performances, but certainly aiming for playoffs at the very least.
Have to be looking towards Telemasters, because I was one of the people casting for them at Telemasters for the English broadcast, and work needed to be done on the European stage. And they're such a talented roster. You've got to be hoping that they're going to want to have that ambition to go to that competition and dominate and try and perform against some of these really, really powerful Nordic teams that we've seen rise across the Rift over the past season, and the UK teams as well. You've got the likes of Eminem and Resolve, and taking a spot in the top two of those teams, one of those teams, is an exceptional achievement for any team in this league. So Nvision definitely going to be hoping to not necessarily retain their crown at this point, just because, as you say, power of the teams above them, but definitely contest for it in those playoff positions. And it's a storied organization. They haven't been in the UK scene as long as teams like Enclave even, but have definitely been looking to make their mark since they've been here, and are starting to become a very strong stable.
Yeah, definitely are. Do you remember the opening split of Nvision? Wasn't necessarily the best, but they did give us Brilliant Dad, so I guess.
Brilliant Dad is the best thing to come out of UK esports in the past year and a half. Changed my mind. Like, amazing stuff all around, and yeah, it's just it's an exciting organization. I feel like we should talk about this League of Legends game that's going on in front of us, but I mean, to be honest, not much has going on.
You know, I wonder how Brilliant Dad's doing. I hope he's okay.
Can we get into your Brilliant Dad after this game? I know that Brilliant not on the Nvision roster anymore. Was their top laner back when they joined the scene, but yeah, I hope he's okay. I hope he's having a good time, yeah, whatever he's doing.
Well, yeah, wherever he is in the world right now, I hope he's doing fine. But Nvision and Enclave right now, very happy to just kind of do not much. Cleanser got a full clear in. Actually, same for Yuna, I believe. So both junglers just clearing out jungle camps. Cleanser is definitely got a slightly more efficient pathing, all things considered. And he's definitely far further ahead than Yuna at the moment. Already level 5, about to clear up his Raptors too, and Krog's going to be respawning down there, so he's got a very linear path back down towards the bottom side, whereas Yuna sort of staggered his jungle camp respawn timers, so you can see he's already at the wolf camp, but it's going to be like 15 seconds until that respawns, so he's going to have to path over to his Raptors first. It's spotted out by a very nice deep wall. Didn't actually quite catch who got that one down. But it does mean Cleanser's going to be a little faster to some of these plays. Very much on theme with Hecarim, I suppose.
Which, you know, It makes sense. He's going to be able to clear out very, very effectively and very, very safely, but hasn't been going for anything super aggressive into the Talia. And is this something that we expect? Because I know that Hecarim likes to get involved, get into some scraps in the jungle, try and steal away camps. Is Talia particularly good at defending that, or is it just maybe a little bit passive cleanser?
Oh, okay. I thought Akaz was maybe thinking about going in here, but yeah, I mean, you know, this jungle matchup can be a little bit obnoxious from the Talia point of view, particularly in the later stages of the game. But earlier on, you know, if Hecarim does find you in the middle of a jungle camp, it certainly can be scary, especially when you're not running phase rush into that horse. He will realistically run you down. You have to flash every time, and even then, if he's got Ghost active, he might be able to catch you. As Yuna's going to be starting up this dragon. He is just about on vision, I believe, from that control ward when he was hovering closer towards it. And you see Sykes rotating down, so Enclave no. Have to see what the play is, as only Sykes is here right now.
Yeah, easily taken away, but
that was a lot.
Sykes just he was thinking about it, just like, can I steal this away? But priority in the bot side does mean that Nvision can take that one almost for free. Yeah. Taking a little bit of a poke from Sykes on the way down, but gives BBuff an opportunity alone in the mid lane. Not too much between these mid lanes. In fact, nothing at all between these two mid laners at the 7-minute mark. And I fear that this might be one of these slower games of League of Legends that you promised me yesterday.
I do believe so. This is going to be one of the slower ones, Will. As a cleanser, at least taxing something from Nvision for taking that Cloud Dragon. I don't believe he picked up the Raptor Camp 2 because of the very inefficient pathing from Yuna. But at least picking that one up for himself. Small trade. I'd be happy to take it as the Hecarim. So early dragon does mean that a early dragon snowball potentially on the cards for Nvision, as they've actually rotated their full bot side.
I was going to mention
to the top side here, which is something I'm starting to notice some teams are sort of opting into here in the UK. I still don't feel like it's the most optimal thing in the world to do, but if you feel like you want the Herald so much, then numbers are numbers at the end of the day. As Sykes
forcing the flash away, and Cleanser wasn't even necessarily needed on that play, so definitely going to be a fertile ground for ganks in the next couple of minutes with no option for escape. And Yuna on the top side might look to get the wall over, might look to surf in onto the dive, but Rel is moving up the horse. The cavalry is quite literally arriving with Hecarim and Rel moving in, and Spark needs to be careful, knocked back into only Angel. The damage comes through from the center ultimate as Mel is huge. And Sparks is going to be culled down for first blood. Cleanser picking up that one.
Yeah, very nice cask from Only Angel there. And I was going to say, honestly, the setup for this Herald is starting to look a little more fruitful. Oh, hello.
Yuna needs to be careful. Shuffled backwards, and once again it's Cleanser looking for the chase. The ultimate used for distance, and the kill coming down. Excellent play there once again from Enclave, and they find themselves 2 quick kills.
Yeah, 2 quick kills. And I was going to say, BB Muffin is running out of mana, so he was going to have to reset really soon anyway. So Enclave, after burning the flash of the Nvision mid laner, were likely going to be the ones picking up the Herald, but not only are they going to pick up the Herald, they're going to pick up 2 kills, pretty much for free. One going on to Cleanser as well, who you don't mind the diving pony with all of the support, getting some of the gold here, as very nice cast. Sends Spark back into the team, and Sykes finds his man, drags him back in with the Emperor's Divide. It's very nicely done, and honestly, I'm not entirely sure if Cleanser had to commit the Onslaught of Shadows, but does it just to secure the kill anyway. No harm, no foul.
Yeah, it's safety to do so, and I mean, with Dragon being up in 2 minutes time, he'll have the ability available then, doesn't need to try and put too much pressure on the map until that objective is up. And an excellent start to this game for Enclave. It was very, very slow, but they managed to grab themselves the first kills and get themselves a little bit of a gold lead. And as you say, getting a kill onto the Hecarim relatively early, not the first blood, which would have been optimal for that extra cash in, but going to allow him to get even closer to that Trinity Force. And already you're seeing a bit of a gap in this jungle.
Yeah, and now what I would really like to see from Enclave is to have them actually keep the pressure up, right? Have them keep the tempo high to keep Nvision on the back foot. Because whilst they've got all of these tools available to them in the lead, they are going to be able to pretty much make a play or make plays on the map first, wherever they choose. So with what seems like constant mid lane priority as well, that's all just going to make the issue harder for Nvision to deal with. I want to see them make some more plays, particularly towards the side lanes. They've got that Rift Herald in pocket. Cleanser for the immediate future is clearing his jungle bot to top, so gonna be back on the bottom side for the Dragon if he opts in for those 2 top camps, but they're greedy. They're looking for a gank onto BB Muffin.
Yeah, no flash of Vader. Remember, will be able to land the shockwave as Yuna coming through. Cleanser is riding, and the kill comes down to Sykes as he tackles Yuna back into the fight, and he's going to go down for the double kill. Some question marks from Jamada in the fight, but the end game is Enclave pick up 2.
Yeah, it was kind of strange watching Cleanser run in without actually having the devastating charge being channeled up, but I mean, the end result is Sykes finds actually a solo kill, no assist credit over to Cleanser, and I'm gonna as I see the onslaught shadows go onto BB Muffin and not Yuna, just looking to potentially secure that kill up, but they do find Yuna and BB Muffin as Akaz is buff.
Akaz needs to be careful. He is gonna get mad pretty soon. There we go, but does have to burn the flash, and here comes the Rift Tower that we saw taken down, and this charge could be the tower just being deleted.
Not quite.
Not quite.
Armor still there. Of course, the earlier Heralds only drop around 2.2 thousand true damage health off of the towers whilst the plates are still there. After the plates are gone, typically see around 2.5 to 2.6.
Only Angel going in. Akaz trying to escape, but that's the wrong tower, buddy. He's going to go down as Enclave pick up another one. Moving to the mid lane where a fight is kicking off. Cleanser gets the knockback onto BB Muffin, who is caught out once again and goes down, followed up by Yuna, who's going to be joining him at the fountain. And Enclave picking up the pace in this one. 7 kills to 0.
All right, we're not going to talk about the top lane play because that was... That's fine. We don't need to see that again. But Enclave, again, they pull the trigger in the mid side. They take down the mid jungle yet again of Nvision. Sykes is going to pick up this tower solo. I'm going to pick up the second dragon as well. So denying Nvision the potential snowball. And just very nice movement up from the bottom side of Enclave. And finally, this is what I've wanted to see for so long from Enclave. More proactivity coming out from them. And okay, we don't...
Do I gotta do it like that?
I mean, where's he going? You know what happens. The jump range is quite far, but BB Muffin just a little bit too far up. Just feeling like with the wave in, he's not actually going to get goon squatted in the way that he does. And, well, Enclave show up. Yuna is there. I don't even feel like he was attempting to save it with enough. But Spark, yeah. I mean, he's...
Teleport?
Yeah.
I mean, Spark's very dead here. I think that's the end game. But actually, going to be able to escape a little bit, gets feared and will go down. Causes me to move into play-by-play voice just a little bit. And the Carl's coming through to try and catch the Alistair. Won't be able to do so, but was that an efficient use of resources from Enclave?
I mean, they're going to be happy with it. Spark being denied away resources in any game is probably a bit of a thumbs up if you're rooting against Nvision. So committing 5 members, you could potentially see as overkill, but the end result is Spark almost got out with all of the summoner spells and killer instinct available to him. So committing 5 members, honestly, yields the result that Enclave are looking for nonetheless. Gold lost on the top side isn't really a big deal. It's now going to be about what Nvision actually do now that they have members up on the top side. And the answer, I mean, Big Muffin's thinking about it. He's going to be spotted out.
So maybe thinking about it a little bit less, and will be moving over to join Akaz up in that top side. Actually, just going to look for the recall. Only Angel and Sorex clearing out the vision that was gained by Nvision on the top side, and things have ramped up. Plates now off and looking at the gold. It's a very commanding 5k gold lead for Enclave, and not necessarily what we expected going into this game, but they've been playing exceptionally well. And Joanna, are you happy with the level of proactivity that we've seen this game?
Yes, finally, because I felt like coming into the split, and honestly, even some of the teams higher up in the standings shared my opinion that this Enclave roster isn't bad by any means. They shouldn't be sitting 2 and 5, that's for sure, in the standings. And finally seeing some proactivity come out of them is certainly a very happy sight to my eyes. And I believe now with the state of the game, they're probably going to be looking to try and close it out as cleanly as they possibly can. Herald is going to be spawning up soon, and they've got pretty much full priority from mid into top side. And Sorex was up here, just took the reset. Looks like he's going to open back out onto the top side of the map anyway. But you can even see Impulse respecting the possibility of a cross-map play in proactivity from Nvision. So he's just going to give up the wave on the bottom side. And while Spark, yes, is getting a little free time for what feels like the first time in this game, it still means that Nvision aren't actually yielding major positives, right? They're not picking up a dive kill on top of the tower. They are getting some jungle camps, but Enclave still getting what they want, which is that Herald. And Nvision at least are going to be able to respond in kind with that bottom side tower. Enclave still happy nonetheless. And Nvision, realistically, just going to have to try and weather the storm and take back golden resources where they can.
Nvision hanging around this bot side now, looking to get a siege down onto the inner. Impulse all alone down here. Needs to be careful. Senna, not particularly mobile, can't really weather a dive too effectively, but Rel will be moving down to give some support. Will still be a 3v2 if this dive takes place, but Spark and Longstaff deciding against and moving away. So we've got back into a little bit of a lull in terms of action levels. Akers chases only Angel away, looking for the belly bot. Damage coming through, and needs to be careful as Sykes and Cleanser moving up, and Akers will be getting pretty angry though, so could look to survive. Only gets the stun onto one though, as Sykes keeps his distance to pick up the kill, and that is a very effective dive from the members of Enclave as they pick up yet another kill.
Yeah, the health bar is just not there for Akers, unfortunately. Even if he is ticking over into Mega, doesn't exactly have plenty of resists available to survive the dive with that little HP, so BB Muffin might be able to get his hands on this mid lane tower, though I feel like he's got a little bit too much HP left, so he's going to be forced to back away as Enclave make their return back out onto the map. And honestly, if you're Nvision, I don't know if you want to contest this dragon. 30 seconds away doesn't really seem like the most optimal choice in decision making. It seems like they agree. They've sent their bottom side to the top.
You know, just hanging around with Australia lanes. Jamada, was it you who didn't know about the term Australia lanes and I had to explain it to you? Or was it someone else?
I feel familiar with that conversation, but I don't think it was me. Enclave, they're looking for Baby Muffin.
Yeah, he's moving up and needs to be careful as Cleanser and Sox can get to him very, very quickly. When you're mounted, you move much faster, and with Ghost, it's even worse. BB Muffin will land the shockwave onto both, though, and Sox and Cleanser are going to be moving away, and BB Muffin might be playing a little bit fast and loose with his positioning up in the lane, but does manage to survive this time.
Do I hear sirens? The weak side police on their way for the Angel. Potentially. But...
do they have a warrant? Sorex and Impulse are here, just to make sure that nothing amiss happens, and solid snake moves, hiding in the bush. Longstaff reveals himself as Cleanser happily on the bot side. Going to be picking up the first Infernal Dragon of the day. It's something that's been quite rare for the past couple of days. Don't think we've seen an Infernal Soul in all of that time, but going to be loving the extra bit of damage coming through. And it's one of the more exciting dragons just because it allows you to be more aggressive. Your damage is going to go a little bit further, and Angel does need to be careful as he might be dove. The tower's not very healthy, and Spark trying to get rid of it as quickly as possible. The ult comes through, but it's not going to be enough, and now it's a 2v1. Only Angel going in, trying to get as much damage onto the Kaiser as possible, as Sorax will be arriving, looking for the CC. Can he land it? No, he can't with the jump. Actually, he can, and Sparks is going to be in for a trick. Yuna here teleports across the minion wave as Sykes and BB Muffin both sharp alongside Akers, and all 5 members of Nvision have committed to this top side, meaning in the bot lane, the inner tower will be taken by Cleanser with this Rift Herald, and he's going to try and force through a charge onto the inhibitor tower. He won't be able to get any more than that because BB Muffin has managed to succeed with the recall, but that's an excellent cross-map play from Enclave.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, kind of by coincidence in a way, I believe Cleanser was actually just in the bottom side doing some counter jungling whilst all of these shenanigans were going on the top side, expecting Nvision to try and make a diving play onto their top laner, so he was taking away jungle camps, and once he sees all 9 other players commit to the top side, he's like, well, I guess I'll drop the Herald and farm the bot wave, and that's exactly what he does. Currently has a 3-level lead up on his counterpart in Yuna. Yuna just hasn't been able to keep up in pace with the Hecarim, which can be expected in this jungle matchup. But to this degree, you certainly start to think maybe not so much, but Cleanser, really strong actually. We haven't really spoken much about the items going on in this game. Sterak's Divine Sunderer or Cleanser Sing Pre. We might have to hold that point. It's like
Akers gets the flash off, it's fine.
Yeah, so nice little flash away from Akers, but honestly, loads of core items coming in for Enclave, and Nvision, honestly, they're not too far behind in terms of like full items to half items, in all honesty, given the gold lead, but I still wouldn't be wanting to take a fight into Enclave, given the scenario, as Yuna
Actually doing a lot of damage to Sorex. Does need to be careful though, as he might get tagged up. Damage coming through. Yuna will be going golden, but Azir is setting up the damage. Longstaff in the mix, looking for Sorex, who has been dismounted. Will be able to move away as the shockwave just catches the full health Hecarim. Not really target you wanted. Everyone's going to be backing away, but Nvision health bar's not the healthiest, and with that Sundisk up as well, gives Enclave a nice little platform to build from. The ultimate from Hecarim doesn't land onto anyone in the end, as Sykes will keep the pressure on, but after that fight, no one goes down, but it gives Enclave a lot of priority in terms of health bars and positioning to start up this Baron.
Yeah, and whilst both teams were jostling for sort of priority over that Raptor Brush, it was actually Sykes keeping Nvision out of that choke by just dropping the soldier in front of him. But this Baron could go down pretty fast. Have the Azir still very early into the game.
Yeah, it's going low. Members of Nvision are looking to defend, but peel off as Hecarim looks to charge through, catching onto only catching onto no one as he turns towards Longstaff. He'll be going down, but indecision from the Hecarim means that no one else is at threat as Enclave will start moving back towards this Baron buff, but members are coming through. Yuna and BP Muffin might like to catch someone out on the back. Don't manage to land anything just yet as Sykes comes through, looking for the shuffle onto Yuna. No jungler available for Nvision anymore as Akers looks to chase down Sorex, gets the third auto, but it's not going to be enough to secure anything. And now Sykes is going to start that Baron buff up once again with one less member of Nvision to worry about. Although Impulse in a lot of trouble, and he's going to be caught out. Sparks diving through for the first kill of the game for Nvision as being Muffin on the back catches the shockwave onto Sykes. Akers is here, no ultimate available, remember, and will be going mini. Members of Enclave not feeling too confident to continue this objective though, and will be forced to back away.
Yeah, feeling pressured enough to back off the Baron there. Call is not to flip it. Very curious though, they're only dealing with mini now. Spark isn't at 2 items yet, and there was no shockwave available from BB Muffin, but just not really feeling confident enough. We see the turn engage here on the replay. And yeah, just a little bit of indecision from Cleanser on where they wanted to go. As eventually they do take down Longstaff, but could have certainly seen more members drop off the back end of that fight. It's a nice enough shuffle from Sykes, a little bit delayed, but at the end of the day, he still finds his man. Yuna doesn't have flash, so pretty much shooting fish in a barrel at that point. And I'm not sure. I believe Impulse is trying to secure mid lane priority, but he just doesn't need to be in the mid lane, realistically, and goes down, trying to secure that for Enclave. And with him being down, apparently flags enough for Nvision to back away from the Baron, or Enclave to back away from the Baron. As Angel's being collapsed on. He is tanky though.
Yeah, Yuna coming, Longstaff coming, Akers already there. The belly bop onto the Alistair will keep him up for a little bit longer. And the headbutt to safety. Thank you very much, Mr. Cowman. As only Angel is able to get out. Members of Enclave moving to mid lane. Again, a nice cross map play to get some pressure down onto that mid lane tower. Won't be able to gain too much from it. As Nvision actually going to start up the Dragon. It's alongside the Baron, so the Sykes is at the Dragon. Sparks will be taken very, very low and forced to back away. As only Angel gets the engage onto Yuna. Sorex is there, Impulse is there, Cleanser is on the side. They're going to be able to catch out and kill Talia as the Hecarim looks to get the fight going on his own. Won't be able to catch anyone out to Spark. Will actually be able to escape with about 300 health as only Angel hanging around the back of the pit, playing Bouncer, playing Marshall, making sure that no one is going to look for the steal on that end. But Akers is sneaking around, has ultimate, catches Impulse again, and the center goes so low, but the healing might be enough. Look at the back as Akers does get the kill onto the center. The fight around the Raptors is huge as well, though, as Sykes gets very, very low, but it looks like a cleanup might be happening. Can Spark do it? Hecarim diving in a little bit healthier than the rest as Spark gets over the wall. The double kill from only Angel will mean that this fight is a W for Enclave. But do they have enough to start on the Baron once again?
I mean, this fight's gone on for so long that I believe Yuna's actually respawned. Either that or he didn't actually end up dropping and managed to take a reset. He is on his way, but he's 3 levels down. Let's have the wall available, but I don't know if they really want to try for this.
They've all moved off to try and get onto Spark. Spikes goes down first. The Kai'Sa will be taken out in revenge, but the Baron regenning will be back at full health. And honestly, Baron must be... He's a lucky man today. No one seems to be able to kill him.
Yeah, Baron's rocking a bit of a KDA in this game. Honestly, he's got to at least have like 5 assists and 2 kills by now. Yeah, Enclave honestly struggling to take down the big purple worm. As a display actually initiated by Nvision trying to secure the Baron. And yeah, Yuna dies at the very start of this play, and it still carries on long enough for him to respawn whilst members are still in front of the Baron. And only Angel and Sorex just playing that front line as Sykes hits away with the soldier. In the backside though, Impulse goes down to Akers and the Baron, and honestly, it's just a bit of a fiesta in the front side. They eventually take down Longstaff, but it's Spark that dives forward, takes down Sorex, able to flash away from Cleanser in the onslaught of shadows, and Call is made to back away from Cleanser. And then they return to the Baron, where they try and turn onto Spark, but he just got so much damage. Does eventually drop down, but picks up a big shutdown onto Sykes, which is the important thing for him. So now he's sitting at 2.5 items on his way to what looks like a Phantom Dancer support where he has, but the gold lead is just still so large. But Enclave are fumbling. They're fumbling a little bit. We'll have to see whether they can actually secure this Baron. But the Infernal Soul, it's taken so long to secure the Baron. The Infernal Soul spawning in 2.5 minutes. So I have to see what the call is. I believe they're on it now.
Yeah, they have started up again, and members of Nvision know, because where else would Enclave be at this point? Longstaff might be looking to engage over the back of the pit. Aka's moving, and he's getting very, very upset by this situation. It will be going mega very shortly. There it is. There's the stuff. Look at the side. Sorex gets the engage. Actually, he doesn't, as he gets knocked back by Longstaff. Aka's has once again caught out Impulse. Its first kill of the fight goes over to Spark. Can Stenna stay alive in the back? And how many members can get through? Members of Nvision have chased away Enclave. They picked up the bot lane, and they've moved towards the Baron, but they've decided, you know what? We've had enough of this purple worm. No one can seem to take it. We're just going to hang around in the river bushes. Only Angel goes for the re-engage. Can't find it properly as Longstaff goes in. Headbutt Pulver, damage coming through, and the Weaver's wall will cut off escape. Only Angel going over the wall as Spark might have helped him out a little bit there. Cleanser moving down the mid lane, but Nvision are like, right, okay, let's move up into the jungle and try and bait something here, because they're going to expect us to be on this Baron. Sykes and Cleanser could look to move through. Teleport coming through again. This fight isn't over yet. Sykes moving forward. Only Angel sprinting forward. Can he catch onto anyone? Finds Akers, who's relatively low. No recall available for the Nars. He looks to kite away. Cleanser on the other side of the fight has found Longstaff and Una. The snipe comes through, but it doesn't get a kill, as Longstaff will be the first one to die in the second part of this fight. Only Angel backs away as Cleanser cleans up his end of the bargain. The Muffin, Spark, and Akers are here. And these fights are going on so long that people are respawning. Sorex and Impulse are both there. Akers will be going out of Mega, though, meaning he won't be able to catch out Impulse, as Beam Muffin and Spark are hanging around trying to get hope. Baron's like, please, someone just kill me at this stage. I want to give you my buff as it goes low. 5k. 4k, it's going down so quickly. Can it be stolen away? Beam Muffin and Spark in there, looking for the damage. Beam Muffin will be snared up as the re-engage happens, as the team peels off. Sykes gets the kill. Baron's below 1k health, as it looks like it will be secured this time by Cleanser. Akers and Sparks are going to be chased away. I don't think they'll be caught, but finally, Enclave take the Baron.
I was starting to lose it as the Baron buff is finally secured. Somebody has it. Enclave now, they want to try and secure this Infernal Soul. And Vision have to check into practically no vision. Everyone's been focused on the top side for so long. There is no vision down here. For now, actually, Nvision are in front of the pit first. Enclave are on the bottom side, but they've got the buff in hand. So they've got the gold lead. They've got this Baron buff, giving them so much extra damage. Akers, though, he's looking for Sorex, but he's kind of out of position a little bit. I don't know what's going on anymore.
And he's little, so he's going to be chased away. The snare won't land, but Sykes is here. And look at the damage coming through from Cleanser. He catches on the Longstaff, but he will go unbreakable. Una going to be chased back, as well as Akers trying to get that rage built. Nice flash from Una will send him away from the pit, but he won't die. But he won't be very near to try and collect and steal this dragon. It will go down so much faster than Baron will. They will collect the soul. Enclave, now with these combat stats from both major objectives, could finally look to try and play around some towers.
Big exhale.
We did it. We got there in the end, Enclave.
We got there.
Good
Enclave
stuff.
finally securing the soul, finally securing the Baron. And those could be the final nails in the coffin for Nvision. But I mean, this game has been pretty crazy. I don't think I've seen a longer Baron dance in the UKLC than what we've just witnessed. And with these buffs in pocket, you imagine Enclave not only should be able to crack open the inhibitors, but honestly, with nothing really going on the map, they should be able to close out the game almost, you imagine, with such a big gold lead and so many creeps already present. We'll have to see, as Sykes is taking a reset. Oh no, Sykes, that's not Sykes, that's Impulse. See, I'm all right, give me the replay, man. As we see yet another Baron dance. I don't even know which one this is, to be totally honest with you, but Sorex tries to find an engage on the backside. At the very top, Spark does pick him up, and Akers takes down Impulse, practically a solo kill. And at this point, I'm starting to think, no way, Nvision, they may have finally won a team fight. And that they had as only Angel, it feels like commits kind of 1v5 in a way. But he is so damn tanky. The Weaver's Wall not quite enough because the Blast Cone's there even interrupts the Killer Instinct from Spark. And teleports come back in, trying to catch the recalls of Nvision. They do pick up Akka's recalling. He doesn't quite go down as he is very tanky, but you see on the top side, Cleanser dives forward. The Daunting Shadows is not quite enough initially to pick up the kills, but they are run down as Nvision, they're looking for a fight in the top side.
Sykes is hidden. Nice engagement from Longsoft, lands onto 3. The Weaver's Wall is down, but Spark has been taken solo and has been removed from the fight. And members of Enclave are cleaning up house. Beeb Muffin and Akkas are in full retreat as Sykes is moving through. Cleanser is marauding forward, looking for more damage, looking for more kills, looking to end the game. The Baron buff has expired, but with Akkas only landing the ultimate onto 1 and subsequently going down with the rest of his team. The last man standing is the Nard, but it won't be enough. And Enclave are gonna look to end this crazy, crazy game.
Yeah, Impulse rounding out the game with that quadra kill there on the center. And finally, we have our victor. It is going to be Enclave taking the 3rd game of the day. Certainly wasn't clean, but at the end of the day, the scoreline certainly makes it look like a dominating win. Nvision going to be falling here to Enclave. And Enclave, honestly, they needed that win. They do find it. It keeps them in contention for that sort of mid-table, potentially trying to snag that 4th spot. And I think most importantly, also avoiding the drop zone.
Okay, it was a dominating win, right? Like, they played so well in the early game, and then Baron happened. And then they closed out the game very quickly after picking up the objectives.
It was a dominating early game, yeah. I shouldn't really take it away from Enclave. They did a very good job at snowballing the early game. But, man... yeah, the mid game, Baron dance, that was a long one. You definitely got your fix of
yeah, you know, like
play. But I think, yeah, importantly, it's more or less the implications on the standings now, because Enclave are going to sit, I believe, that 3 and 5 mark. Nvision 4 and 4, they might even be 3 and 5 now.
I think they might be 3 and 5 after
they
yesterday.
Might even be 3 and 5. So yeah, it's a big win for Enclave, dragging Nvision closer to them, rounding out the 2-round robin, of course. 1-on-1 head-to-head with Nvision is definitely going to be very important moving forward. So hats off to Enclave. They finally dropped the shackles of inactivity in the early game, and they actually make things happen, and they snowball it eventually into a win. It took a very long time for them to secure the Baron, but secure it, they did, and they eventually took home the W.
Yeah, we're going to jump to a short break so I can have a quick lie down. But when we come back, we're going to see if Jamana can try and dissect what was happening in that game. And we'll be talking to Sykes about the victory as well. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Ain't I mistaken? I've been here before. All my body is aching, shaking to the core. Wherever you go is a heaven, 724. Now don't go be misbehaving, but I'm craving a little more. Can't keep my thoughts inside, don't want no place to hide. Can't get you off my mind, all night and day. You always played it cool, oh but I ain't no fool. I know you feel it too, so what do you say? Why don't we give it a try? Baby, don't let the summer go by. Baby, no, I don't wanna say goodbye. Baby, baby, we should give it a try. Why don't we give it a try? Ain't no mistaken, I'm taken with you. All my body is aching, awaken anew. Oh, I think I'm in heaven it's true. Now don't go misbehaving, but I'm caving over you. Oh, can't keep my thoughts inside, don't want no place to hide. Can't get you off my mind.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the UKLC. I'm still Viper, and still joined by Jamada. We're both still alive somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Baron got pretty much everyone else in that game. It didn't get us, though. We're still here, and... Okay, Jamada, I'm confused, I'm scared, but the big takeaway from that matchup, in the grand sense, now that we can put it behind us, Enclave got the win.
Yes. Enclave did win. I think the viewers won a little more, though. But no. Positive takeaways, honestly. I'm just happy to see Enclave actually partake in a League of Legends match. You know, in the first 15 minutes of the game. It's been one of my constant sort of criticisms for them is they've just not done anything in the early game. They would have team compositions like Hecarim, Galio, with the likes of a diving forward support, and they just wouldn't move. They'd always be the ones being engaged onto, and it's just not the ideal scenarios for them. But this game, we finally saw them actually, you know, put their foot down. Once they got rolling, they didn't stop. Nvision, it really felt like in the first, 10 to 15 minutes, they didn't have an opportunity to really breathe. And I think that's just credit to particularly Cleanser on Hecarim, just moving around the map so frequently and just making plays happen.
So impressive. Across the board, really, for Enclave in those earlier stages. Didn't give up very much at all in terms of the objectives that were used. And in fights, it was always Enclave grabbing the kills across the map. And this is exactly what I wanted to see from them. As you said, moving into the Baron fights, it was difficult and it was slow and it wasn't controlled at all. But even then, when things started to falter, they were still clearly the stronger of the two teams. So definitely a big improvement from what we've seen from them before. And now they're climbing the table just a little bit, putting a little bit of daylight above Demise, who lost earlier today. Things have started to look up.
Yeah, I think so. And I think now things look a lot more interesting on the bottom side of the table now. I think, unfortunately for Demise, it's hard to talk positively about them in where they sit in the standings. But 7th up, it's certainly looking really, really close. And honestly, it could be anybody sort of dropping down to 7th and joining them in what I imagine is likely going to be Demise and someone else in that relegation spot. So yeah, I think moving up away from the relegations, because it's not like it's super, it's not like the standings are not close, right? It's only really 2 wins. If you Eminem are what, 5-2, so you only need 2 wins at the moment to catch up to Eminem.
Yeah,
Eminem potentially to drop a game today versus Resolve, right? Because the expectation for many is that Resolve are going to actually, take down Eminem, but Eminem's still the team that most look to say, if anyone will make Resolve drop a game, it's them. So, let's see, that last game going to hold major implications realistically for the teams actually below as well, just to give those teams a bit of hope in terms of making it into that final playoff spot.
And I mean, if teams are going to be looking to fight for these higher places, they need to be performing well across the entirety of their game and beyond. And Enclave in this game, yeah, we talked about a lot about the Baron fight, but were looking very, very good throughout the game. So hopefully we're going to get some highlights that we can look over in this game and see exactly how Enclave did throughout the entirety of the match. And there were a couple of good points from their opposition as well, but Enclave looked in control the entire time.
Yeah, and I mean, this is just the back-end final fight. And I mean, Nvision, honestly, just looking to, I don't know, it's just desperation. They know the hole that they're in. They just try and see if it's not the entirety of the Enclave roster here. Unfortunately, it is everybody. And, well, Impulse goes on a bit of a tear with this center. Is able to pick up multiple kill credits. It's very nice. Joint CC coming down from Fencer diving forward, and then the stun coming in from Rel. And it's Impulse picking up all those kill credits on the back end. But yeah, we more or less just Nvision, kind of much like what we'd criticized Enclave for, not proactive enough. And I mean, that is kind of a theme of the Nvision team, even from last year, is they wouldn't really play the game that much. In summer, they'll let Alex farm up, and then they'll play around Alex from the jungle, and they would let him take over Dragon fights and Baron fights. This time around, Alex isn't there. There is no major, star player to play around. They allow Spark to try and farm up. They play and build compositions around him, and that's how they play the game. So, rightfully so, Enclave in this game actually punished them for it.
Absolutely. And sadly, we're not going to be able to have an interview with Enclave after their win due to technical issues. Very unfortunate. But we are going to jump to a break, because when we come back, it's the matchup of the day. M&M looking to topple Resolve and give them their first loss of the week. Can they do it? Find out in a few minutes.